What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's Analysis. We're going to be looking at Microstrategy. We're going to be going over Bitcoin, global liquidity, the dollar, and MSTR divided by Bitcoin. So we have our downward sloping trend line that we've been respecting multiple times. We finally broke out, got our nice retest. We got a large move to the upside here. We closed above this zone that we were speaking of, this horizontal level of support and resistance. We got a solid close again once we closed back underneath. And now we're making our way up to the secondary trend line that we spoke about. We've had multiple touches off of it. 3, 4, 5, now number 6. Now I did speak about this trend line saying that there's going to be a lot of resistance. As you can see, we've been struggling to get past it today. So let's see how today plays out. Hopefully we get a close above it. That would be perfect. And then get a retest off of it, because that would be a strong level of support. But right now it's still acting as resistance in the meantime. But we definitely have SMAs and Bollinger Bands on top of our head, along with this downward sloping trend line that we're currently at. So that's confluence to push price downward. So that's a lot of resistance. We definitely got to break above that. But we'll go over that later in the video. But for now, this is looking super bullish. It's looking like it's starting to play out as we spoke with the double bottom or triple bottom, however you want to see it. And hopefully pushing up to the upside. It looks like both of the trend lines ended up being relevant, because we had this first one where we said, okay, this is a breakout. And then we were saying maybe it's not, because we fell back inside of it, but it ended up being that breakout. Now, we were wondering if this one was still going to be in play, and it has been in play, and we're feeling it right now. I mean, we kind of knew it was going to be in play once we saw this dramatic move off of this trend line here on March 25th. But overall, things are looking super bullish. Everything's playing out very well as we've been speaking of. On the daily SMAs, we got our nice close and retest off of it, off the 20 and the 50. We got a nice cross here on the 20, crossing above the 50, and we're pushing up higher. We'd love to see that. On the weekly, we have that 20-week SMA that we've been speaking about ever since we were down here, saying that once we get to this downward sloping trend line, we're going to have some trouble there and some resistance, and that's exactly what we're experiencing. Just like we spoke about on the Bollinger Bands, we got that nice close above here, retest, pushing up higher. Love to see that. We're switching between the green and the red. Hopefully we can hug the red all the way up to the upside. And on the Bollinger Bands weekly, we have that Bollinger Band in the exact same spot that the SMA is in and the trend line, so it's additional confluence to keep price downward. So that's why we want to get that close. That's why we're desperate to get that close above this, so we can make our way back up to the red band. On the daily RSI, we're looking very good. We got that inverse head and shoulders, or that cup and handle, pushing upwards. Let's see if we make our way all the way to the overbought territory. It's looking very, very bullish. So we're starting to create higher highs, higher lows, and push up higher. And we're holding a sustainable move above this moving average. On the weekly, looks like we got our little bottom here, creating higher highs, higher lows, looking very bullish. And we did get a move finally above this yellow moving average, showing that signs can start to push up, showing signs that we can continue to push up higher to overbought territory. On the MACD, we got our double bottom pattern right here. As you can see, the W shape, and we got the candles to drop, and we're starting to get that sustainable move to the upside. We're getting that steady climb in volume of green, as you can see here. So hopefully we get a sustainable move and continue up higher. And on the weekly, we kind of have the same concept where we're getting that constant drop here in bearishness. So it's going more bullish as we continue on. It's getting less bearish as time is increasing. You can see it's turning white and dropping. It was a steady stair step, and now it's a steeper drop and a steeper drop here. And when you take a look at the actual blue line, it looks like we're actually starting to curl upward, because if you see my line is horizontal, you can see the blue line's actually slightly pushing upward. So this thing's starting to curl up. All we need to do is cross that orange, how we did here, and start to see some nice moves to the upside. I think we can definitely make a move higher. We did speak about a bull flag on the 4-hour. We had like a little poll that we had going on. We had this here something similar in here. It's just a quick little, maybe more of a pennant, but we had this. We had it somewhere around in this region where we did the poll on YouTube, and we said something where we had two scenarios where we continue to chop, eventually break out, and then we had the other scenario, which was making this turn into some kind of like triple top and then continue on down and clear out this move that we had if it was in a bearish direction. But it looks like it's playing out pretty well. That's nice to see. We love to see that. Here on the daily, I did post yesterday too on X saying, like, honestly, right before this candle formed, I was saying that this candle right here was very bullish. This close that I like this close that we had, and we literally popped. I don't even know, like 15 minutes after I posted that, and now we've been running up. So we'll see how it plays out. The first thing we definitely want to see is a close on the daily, which we still have 7 hours and 55 minutes. We want to see a close above this gray level here. So we want to close above 88.2 and higher. Any close on the daily above that is a perfect sign. We want to see that because that would be the first close since the week of March 7th. But ideally, if we get a push above 88.8, we can make a quick move anywhere from 90,600 to about 91.5. Very quick before we start running into some resistance somewhere in this region. I'll just draw it out. So we could run into some resistance here. But once we break that, now we're back in the zone that we were speaking of prior, which we want to be in, which is the bottom of this channel or range. And now we can start bouncing and playing with all-time highs and then, move up higher. So we want to get inside of this range. But of course, like I always say, it's one thing at a time. We need to focus on these wicks here, getting that close above it, and see if we can get a nice move to 90.6 all the way up to like 91.5, and then slowly chop our way through there and then move on up higher back into the bottom of this range. We are looking super bullish though. On the weekly, if you're looking just on a weekly perspective, then once you break 88.8 on a weekly perspective, this should be a clean move all the way up to about 92.5 roughly. And the reason I say that is because you have a clean candle. This is an insane engulfing candle. This is a crazy candle. So we could have a large move to clean that up. It can go right back and pretty much act like this move never even happened. We'd love to see that, of course. And we have 9 days on the month left. So on top of that, if we could get a close in 9 days above 95,000, that's very optimistic. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm saying if we could get one, that would be perfect because now we're back above this wick and now we have almost no resistance all the way up to 102 on a monthly chart. And on the weekly chart, it's kind of the same. We'd have a little bit of resistance on the way up to about 98.5, I would say. But it shouldn't be too much resistance, I would say. And global liquidity, it's been doing its thing as usual, taking off nonstop. Also because the dollar has been dropping, which is increasing the global liquidity as well. We were here on Friday and we're already up here on Monday. So this is pretty insane. It's pretty insane how fast this thing gets going. The reason I use this instead of the global M2 money supply is because this has like the Federal Reserve and central banks included. So I feel like you get a more broad general idea of the money supply. So that's why I like this global liquidity index instead of the global M2. But this move is starting to look very nice, and it looks like it's starting to play out as we spoke about, as a bunch of people. I'm not the only one that's been talking about this. So if we take it from the bottom here and we say that this was the bottom, then it was a let me go on the daily actually, because this is going to be a better idea. If we take it from the bottom here, it would have been 86 days to the bottom, and we're making our way up. So if this is the bottom, then maybe we're here in the move, or maybe we're somewhere in here, but we definitely have a long way to go. Global liquidity has been running up for a total of 98 days so far, and it's still continuing up. So for instance, let's say we do the exact same. I'll do like plus or minus 5 days because nothing's exact. But let's say we run for, so we said 98 days, so let's do 93. That takes us out to July 11th. And 98 would be July 16th. So on Wednesday. If the move were to finish and we would see this start to fall back. But remember, this thing can continue ramping for another 20 days, and that would push it out even further. So that would push the move. For instance, if it pushed an additional 20, you're talking about like 115, 118, 120 days. And that pushes that move all the way out to August, that we could be running up for literally 3 to 4 months straight. So we'll see how things play out, of course. This is the time that it usually runs up. You know, you had 2017, 2021, and hopefully 2025. So every 4 years we've had our crazy run-ups. 2017, as you can see here, 2021 after COVID, and now let's see if we get that nice run-up how we've seen historically. So we're going to take a look here at the dollar. I do think this recent drawdown in the dollar is helping global liquidity increase, and it's also helping Bitcoin ramp up as well. They're all tied together. It's kind of like a domino effect, I would say. I can definitely see us pushing to about 95 or even lower if we continue falling. But when you overlay Bitcoin, you can see where the moves in Bitcoin actually would ramp up. So, oops, I didn't mean to do that. So the moves ramp up in Bitcoin as you get these large drawdowns here. You can see it happening. So you had that large drawdown in the dollar. What happens for Bitcoin? Absolutely ramps up. I mean, takes off. 2021 or after 2020, you know, running into 2021, what do we see here? Dollar topped at 102 prior to this move all the way down to 89 bucks. What do you know? Bitcoin rallies up. So not including this move, but we'll go from here. It rallies up. And from here, it rallied up. So now we're starting to see, again, actually, we have another example here where you can see the dollar where we just recently topped at 114 to 99. And that's where we just got that rally up from December 2022, so pretty much January 2023, to this recent local high that we've had in January. And now we're getting another drop. So what do you think's coming for Bitcoin now? We just topped here at 110. And what happens if we continue even lower? What if we go down to 95, 94? So we'll actually measure these out as well to see how big of a drop they were. So roughly 15%, 13%, 13%, currently down. We hit 11 and we're currently down 10.7, and 95 would take us to 13% again. And we saw massive moves in every single case here. So let's see how it plays out. Very bullish in my opinion. We just got to give it some time. I do think that time is very, very close. Could be currently in it right now. MSTR divided by Bitcoin. You can see we had this run up, pullback, and now we broke out. And we're getting a little retest of this same level that we've retested a couple times. Let's see if this week can turn into a nice wick and then a nice body of the candle pushing up, hopefully to, 0.004 or even higher. That'd be ideal to show that Microstrategy is outperforming Bitcoin, and Microstrategy is doing what it's designed to do, which is to be a leverage play on Bitcoin and outperform to the upside and underperform to the downside. So this pretty much just goes to show MicroStrategy is in check, doing what it's supposed to do. But we had this breakout and we're starting to outperform Bitcoin in this little short span from March 3rd. But that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.